Okay, so it's the early hours of the morning and not going to make my voice too loud, and also have a slightly sore throat, so apologies for that. But I do want to comment a little bit about the news that Piers Morgan is stepping down from CNN. He's had his own slot on the show for about 3 years now, and in that time he's attracted quite a lot of controversy. The reason he's stepping down is ostensibly for lowering ratings rather than the peak period when he started his show 3 years ago. At that time he had, I believe, millions of viewers. Now it's down to hundreds of thousands, so there's a significant dip in the ratings. Um, I strongly suspect this is a backlash because he's actually taken on the gun lobby. There has been quite a large number of people who have commended him and said they'll miss him and they appreciate what he's done, but there's also others that have come out with good riddance and so on. I know quite a bit about Piers Morgan because I've got his autobiography that he published in 2004 after he stepped down as editor of the Daily Mirror, which is a well-known British tabloid, left-wing tabloid. Um, with that, I'd like to say Piers Morgan is probably the only tabloid editor I have any respect for. Generally, I have contempt for tabloid editors, I still do. But Piers Morgan is a man who I believe is quite intriguing. And I believe he has bravely stood up to the gun lobby. I say brave because some of them are very deranged people, and he would be risking, frankly, some personal violence from these individuals. They have threatened their adversaries before, so it does, in my opinion, take some courage for anyone to stand up to them. Um, a lot of focus has been on the fact he's a British citizen, and some Americans resent the fact he's supposedly telling them what to do. But one day people would realise he's actually acting out of compassion for Americans, and he's extremely pro-American, in fact, as he said in his farewell video, because he wants less Americans to die. I like the little touch he put in there. He's addressed the gun issue because he doesn't want to see so many Americans dying unnecessarily. Um, I do have a lot of respect for him standing up to nut jobs like Ted Nugent, um, because these people need to be challenged and exposed for what absolute, just how illogical their arguments are. Um, I don't intend this to be a video about the gun issue. I've made lots of videos about that. My views are well established. I'm strongly pro gun control. I just hope that Piers Morgan and other people like him have opened up the debate, at least to the extent where gun control is no longer a dirty word in America. Unfortunately, it had been for a long time. Um, so there wasn't really transparent debate. There is more debate now, and that's a good thing. Unfortunately, America is still an incredibly violent country when it comes to gun violence, and unfortunately, a lot of people still have their head in the sand, and there's still a huge amount of paranoia, like President Obama is planning to take away the guns. There's absolutely no evidence for that whatsoever. Um, and I don't think Piers Morgan wants to take away anyone's guns. What he does want is a much less violent American society, and he wants common sense gun control. He wants to see much fewer deranged people with their hands on guns. So I think what he's done actually is very important in raising these issues and engaging in debate. People said he's been rude to his guests, but in the end of the day, he's addressing life and death situations here, and as far as I'm concerned, he's been no more rude than some of them have been to him. I mean, I think it was Alex Jones challenged him to a fist fight. Um, Ted Nugent has a racist background. You want to see some of the crap that Nugent comes out with. And very few NRA people are polite anyway, so, you know. The only way to take on bullies is with force. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the way that people should stand up to the gun lobby. You can't engage with these people in polite debate because they don't listen to the facts. So really, it's come to the point now where the only way to take on the gun lobby, and I'm not talking about low-level people who are sort of, they may be NRA members and they're unsure about it. I'm talking about the high-level members. They're bullies, they're thugs, and they're liars. And the only way to stand up to them is by exposing them for the dangerous extremists that they are. I honestly believe the NRA is basically a terrorist organisation, and I do hope we ban it in this country. Why? Because they promoted gun violence in America, and they have the blood of thousands of Americans on their hands. Whatever people think, that is a fact. So it's unfortunate that Piers has had to stand down, but nevertheless 3 years is quite a long time. I'm sure he's opened a few minds. I'm sure he's generated some debate. Yes, he has his detractors, but you're always going to get that when someone speaks up on an important issue. Something else I want to say, it's completely unrelated to the subject, but I don't really want to make a whole new video about it. It's about Malaysia Airlines, and the families are going through a very rough time. There's still a lot of tension over that. But I just wanted to make a quick point. Sorry. About the behaviour of some of the press in dealing with those families. I've been rather disgusted seeing scenes of Chinese press, Malaysian press, I don't know where they're from, shoving their cameras in people's faces. It's extremely disrespectful. It's exploiting people who are suffering, basically taking advantage of their pain to get a few cheap shots. And it's just, it really looks like paparazzi style harassment. I mean, these people are going through agony, and it just seems really cheap to take them at this time. A professional journalist would take some pictures in the press room, and then maybe some interviews with the family's permission, but to ram the cameras in their face like that, I just think it's pretty vile. And I said Chinese. I'd be very surprised if they are Chinese, because maybe they're from Hong Kong, but certainly the mainland, I'd be very surprised if they were mainland reporters, because Chinese press is so strictly controlled. I think I don't want a situation where this is sort of going off on a tangent, but so I'll just say this quickly. I don't want a situation where the press is controlled as much as it is in China. I think that's an abomination. On the other hand, I was thinking the other day, there was a rapper, who aren't my favourite people in the world, but there was a rapper charged with assault because he stood up to a paparazzo. As far as I'm concerned, any celebrity that stands up to the paparazzi should not face charges. As far as I'm concerned, the paparazzi are just total scum. So, going back to Piers Morgan, I believe he's amended his past. He used to be a tabloid journalist. He once worked for the News of the World, which was a pretty slimy paper. But he's now atoned for that by his role in ethical journalism and taking on the gun issue. So Piers Morgan is the only tabloid editor I respect. I'll leave it there. As you can see, I'm very tired, but I believe one day people will realise that people like Piers Morgan have done a service to America by raising this issue. Thanks for watching.